California pot farm owner's ties to Newsom.
And now we're getting new details about the California pot farm, which became the scene of a massive standoff between ICE agents and protesters last week. Agents managed to apprehend over 360 illegal immigrants at the farm, including
360. That's a lot. That's crazy. And there were 14 kids too? Why were the kids at a weed farm? Why were there, what the hell?
14 underage minors. And now we're learning more about the farm's owner. Glasshouse Farms president and co-founder Graham Farrar has been called a pioneer in growing so-called environmentally friendly cannabis.
Yeah.
And he has a history of donating to Democratic candidates and causes.
I bet he does. Hey, no, it makes sense, right? I mean, again, no, if I was him, I'd be doing the same thing.
Including a hefty $10,000
Why isn't this guy in jail for employing 300-something illegals? What the hell? Because this is the thing, like, I don't even... Like, the illegals that come over here and they're working, especially the kids, do you think I'm holding it against the kids and these illegals? No, they're just trying to do the best thing that they can for themselves, their lives, and their family. Like, I understand that. But it's people like this guy that are taking advantage of them. They're abusing their labor. And what they're doing really is that they're hurting everybody else in the economy, because now you have other providers and other farming areas that now, how the fuck can they compete against this guy who's utilizing illegal child labor, and he's probably paying them, I don't know, is he paying them on Snickers bars? I don't know, but it's probably certainly not the United States minimum wage. This is crazy. He should be in jail. This needs to stop. They need to start arresting the owners. Yes. The problem of what happens is that the owners never face repercussions. I don't place any moral evil, maybe a very minor moral evil, on the people that are coming over to the country illegally, because they are just simply trying to live their best life. That, like, really, if I was in fucking one of those PvP servers down there, I would be trying everything that I could to get to America also. I would. And wouldn't you? I would absolutely be doing that. So, like, it doesn't mean we should let them all in. Of course not, right? And for each business owner who hires illegals we deport, one illegal can stay in his place. Yeah, he gets to pick the illegal alien that he was employing that's going to get replaced with him. Yeah, there you go. And reparations coming for underpaid migrants. Yeah, I mean, in a way, I mean, I think so. I mean, that would be fair. So he's helping them with wages and the families who can't afford housing and American education. Well, he's certainly helping himself. I'll tell you that. That's the primarily thing. Rich people aren't held accountable of anything. Well, I mean, again, it's easy to do. Do you think the money was made? He just laundered it to Democrats? Well, that's what he's saying. The guy could easily hold ICE over employees' heads if they want to quit or have poor performance. Employers can be very cruel to them. Well, this is one thing. I'm going to pull you up real quick and just show this message to the chat, because this is one of the things that a lot of people need to understand, is that when you have the ability, like whenever you're dealing with somebody like this illegally, you have an extra level of control that a employer should not have over an employee. This is an unhealthy and a bad relationship for an employer to have. How the fuck do you know that? Because it's common sense.
To Gavin Newsom back in 2018.
Wait a minute.
Meanwhile,
Hold
Democratic
up.
candidates and causes, including a hefty $10,000 donation to Gavin Newsom back in 2018. Meanwhile, Democratic California leaders are still working to oppose immigration enforcement however they can. That includes Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, who's rolling out a new plan to give cash cards to families allegedly threatened by ICE.
What are you going to do?
But we also are going to have
what are you going to do?
Reinstitution of the Angelino card, something that Mayor Garcetti started during COVID that will actually provide cash assistance to people. Because, you know, you have people who don't want to leave their homes, who are not going to work, and they are in need of cash. It's a couple $100s, I don't know the exact amount, and this should be available in about a week.
Unbelievable. Where's my $200 cash card? So you're sending this money over to these illegal aliens that are afraid of ICE, but not to the people that are actually paying the taxes?
Steve, so like we talked about, you are staunchly in the lead in California gubernatorial polls right now. So talk to us, how and why does your message resonate with the majority of Californians right now on these topics?
This is such a great, terrible example of what's been going wrong in California, because you've got people in charge who not only won't enforce the law, they undermine the law. And you're seeing it on this issue of illegal immigration, and it's playing out for the whole country to see. But we've also seen it on crime more generally, the way that retail theft, shoplifting's been tolerated. We've seen it on
He's completely right about this.
Homelessness. It's illegal for these encampments to be there. They've been there for years, and these
Baldy is cooking.
Politicians have done nothing about it. Now you have federal law being enforced by the federal administration, and they're saying, not only we're not going to help you, we're going to stand in your way, we're going to cheer on the people who are throwing rocks at our law enforcement agents, and we're going to pay for the organizations that are protesting this. And all of it could be avoided if they would just work with ICE to get these dangerous criminals out of our country. And it's not just federal law that they're breaking when they don't do that. Even state law, even the California sanctuary state law has a provision in it that allows for discretion for local law enforcement to work with ICE when you're talking about people who in the last 15 years have been convicted of a long list of crimes. This lawlessness has to stop, and that's what I will do as governor.
Quick follow-up for you, Steve.
I don't know why why does Trump even let that sanctuary city shit happen? Because, like, if I was him, like, what I would do is I would just cut off all the funding for the entire state until they got rid of it. Just straight up. Cut it off. And if they want it back, then get rid of the rules. Yeah, turn off the tap. Yeah, because the thing is that they're never going to stop doing it until they face consequences for it. The judge won't let them. Do it anyway. Who cares? Fuck them. Like, these people are actively subverting the law, but then you want to use the argument that, oh, well, he has to follow the law while they actively subvert the law. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, does President do it? Yeah, it's insane. Cut off the funding. Yeah, and I don't know why you're letting this happen. And I feel like that's what, don't interrupt your enemy while they're making mistakes. I think they've been making these mistakes for 30 years, and it's allowed them to consolidate power and influence. I feel like these mistakes are turning into strategies. I think that would be it. States aren't required to enforce immigration law. That's why no one gets in trouble. Well, the sanctuary city laws are different than just states not enforcing the law, especially with them letting certain criminals out for no reason. Like, if you're letting people out of jail because, like, they're not a legal citizen, that's a totally different thing.
Because the current governor, Gavin Newsom, who has enjoyed donations by that pop farm owner before he came out lambasting federal involvement there, you know, his prior comments were sort of clearly moderate. Was, you know, don't come illegally and we're going to deport you, and I'm all for legal immigration, et cetera. But now it seems that he's gone extremely radical, certainly on recent podcasts. It's a stark contrast. He's clearly running for the national stage. Talk to us about what that impact is on current Californians who need a governor now.
Well, it seems that he's really not interested in doing his job as governor of California, because what's he doing? He's going on all these podcasts. He's in South Carolina last week. He's trolling President Trump on social media. I mean, these are the things that
he's trying to set himself up to run for president. That's the reason why. Because none of the other people that are Democratic like front runners have any realistic shot at being president. Like AOC doesn't have a shot at being president. Bernie Sanders is way too old. Like a lot of the other people that they have out there are just kind of random nobodies and retards. Like Tim Walz is a fucking idiot. It's not going to happen. So really, that's the reason why I think he's doing it. Kamala can win. I've got a feeling it's not going to happen, okay?
Far removed from the policy challenges we have in California. We've got the highest rate of poverty
Pete Buttigieg? That's not going to happen. I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't think the American general public is ready for a gay person to be the president yet. Straight up. I don't think so. Look at his poll numbers. Look at the way that people voted for him in the Democratic primary. That's crazy. I guess I'm crazy. Obama?
Country.
Guys.
We pay the highest taxes, the highest costs for gas, electricity, water. We had the highest unemployment rate in the whole country for most of last year. Where is the response to any of that? It's non-existent.
Bessent's gay. Bessent wasn't running for president. Scott Bessent's gay. There's plenty of other gays, plenty of other guys that are gay that are involved in Trump's fucking, like, I know it's him. It's like one other guy. Oh, Peter Thiel, who's not directly involved, but like kind of, right? No, absolutely. So the thing is that a lot of groups do not have the same forward thinking. Like I think people vastly underestimate the amount of homophobia there is in the country. They dramatically underestimate it.
The kind of serious change that we need to see. But instead, you've got Karen Bass just worrying about her own re-election next year for mayor of Los Angeles after the disaster of the wildfires. Gavin Newsom clearly focused on running for president. We need someone who's going to deal with our problems in California.
So I'm looking at what you gave me, the California governor statewide polls, sample size 2012 registered voters. This is a big poll. Steve Hilton leading by 19% over Katie Porter. It's tight with her until you factor in those people who can't quite make up their minds.
Especially whenever all the LGBTQ stuff going on right now. Yeah. Do you think we'll see a woman president or first LGBT president first? I think woman president's much more likely. I do. You've got to keep in mind that like gay marriage got legalized in like 2015 or something, and women have been able to vote for almost 100 years. So no, and I do think also. Again, and this follows voting as well, because like black men were able to vote before white women were.
As undecided, you say there's about 30% of the electorate out there that hasn't made up their minds. Then the gap between you and Katie Porter gets greater. You factor in Kamala Harris, Katie Porter falls to third place, and you and Kamala are battling it out. So talk to me. I don't know that those candidates that I'm looking at here are attacking any of the things that we're reporting on.
No.
I mean, everything that Emily just set up, I don't see it coming from them.
No, and the interesting thing is that we've had 15 years now of one-party rule in California, and the results are there. It's the worst results on everything that matters, the highest housing costs. I could go on all hour about everything that's gone wrong, but of course what people want is someone to put things right, a positive change, and I think that's what people are responding to, and what's encouraging. Look, it's very early. You know, the election is next June. We've barely begun campaigning, but what's really clear is that I'm there as the leading challenger, which whatever the scenario is, whether it's Kamala Harris or Katie Porter, any of these people, I'm the leading challenger to this 15 years of one-party rule. By the way, it'll be a big thing for the country if we can save California. We're the fourth biggest economy in the world. Imagine how far we could power.
It's actually crazy how big California is. I mean, California is the biggest economy in the entire country for sure. It has the most people in it also. So, like, that's one of the really big reasons why it's important that California doesn't totally turn into a fucking a PvP server, right? Do you think Republicans have a shot at winning California? I don't think so. I actually don't. I don't think so. I don't think things have gotten bad enough. Like, I mean, that's my honest answer is no. But I think that it will trend in that direction. But who knows what's going to happen in like 5 years, right? I have no idea. Or 10 years. Give it 10 more years at most, maybe, right?
Again, with real positive leadership.
Well, it's also just bringing sanity back to California and the country. And what happened at these farms in California, these pot farms, is the definition of insanity. And it gives you a perspective on the Democrat Party's worldview where heroes are villains and villains are heroes. Let's look at the play-by-play. So on July 10th, you have ICE and other federal authorities go and raid these pot farms. They arrest at least 360 illegal aliens, 14 children they found that they were worried about that had been rescued from potential exploitation, forced labor, and human trafficking. 10 were unaccompanied. And then, by the way, some of these individuals they arrested, guess what they've been convicted of? You've got rape, child molestation, kidnapping during the operation, according to DHS. So instead of saying, hey, look, that's really good. Right, let's praise ICE officials for saving these children, rescuing these children. What happened?
No, so some of these people, like, it's crazy that it even happens. It really is. Like, I can't even believe this shit.
You had hundreds go in protest, including, attacking federal agents, firing a gun at a federal agent, and then you have a congressman accused of doxing one of the ICE agents as well. On top of it, and then, oh, by the way, just to sum it all up, the owner of the pot farm donated.
Well, how's somebody convicted of rape and a DUI and they're not in jail? I mean, because these are like, this is kind of what I was saying before, is like, if these people are convicted and nothing happens to them, like, this is like, these are federal laws, right? I mean, like, raping people, like, these are federal charges in a lot of these cases. How is it that nothing ever happens? Like, and this is the reason why also I think that they have a justification to just cut all the funding, because like, they're not following the federal law.
To Democrats. Does that not tell you everything about today's Democrat Party and what's wrong with this party?
And Rosanna, we've seen polls just recently that reflect that the majority of Americans across the board now support illegal immigration deportation in addition to those with criminal records. So the fact that you have these state officials that are refusing to work with ICE officials, that are straight up obstructing the federal government in their execution of these duties that were a mandate by the American people, and you contrast that with the will of the people, it's horrifying.
I mean, you look at Mayor Bass, right? She's offering gift cards out. She's not saying exactly how much is on those gift cards. She doesn't know. She doesn't know.
Wow.
By the way, like, yeah, that's kind of a good point. Like, you don't even know how much money is going to be on the card. What the fuck? Like, aren't you supposed to be in charge of this? You don't even know what's going on. Pam Bondi is right to arrest a lot of people in the government. She plays defense, not offense. She's terrible. Yeah, I think so. And that's really what the problem is that judges and DAs need to be visited by the same people they willingly let loose among the citizenry. No, I just think they need to be arrested. It's very simple. Like, if they're letting these people loose and they're doing this, then why aren't they being recused or recalled? Because that's really what I would do.
Harris, do you think she doesn't know? She knows she's giving out gift cards, but she doesn't know how much is on the gift cards. Another way to keep some of those people, hidden. And the city of Los Angeles, $1 billion in debt.
Yes.
In debt.
Amazing. And she's handing out free money to people who are illegally here.
And Steve, and then let's not forget about the people that were, ravaged by the wildfires. I'm not talking about the celebrities. They'll be fine. I'm sure their insurance will work at some point. But there were real working class neighborhoods that were there for generations after generations that need help. Where are they? Nothing's been done in those areas, Steve.
See, that's what's crazy to me about it, is that, like, she's giving this money out to people that are just, like, not even, they're afraid of having the federal law enforced on them, and you're using resources to help them instead of helping the people who had their house burned down. Think about how ridiculous that is. That's crazy. The amount of obstruction of ICE, doxing, 20K officers. I mean, like, again, the reason, how do you prove that, do you need to prove that you're illegal? How do you need to prove you have taxpayer support? I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, California and Oregon are both sanctuary states. I get my updates and device about ICE agent locations through local Google News. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, again, Like if the federal government was aggressive enough, they could make that stuff happen. But I think that, and this is one of the reasons why I'm very frustrated with them, is that I don't think that they are extreme and aggressive enough towards especially institutions and people in high political positions. I actually think that the American public wants to see governors go to jail. I think they want to see big companies have like their board of directors get arrested. I think they want to see that happen. And I think Trump should give the people what they want. Yes, I do. Exactly. Like, the mayors, like these people, like the police chiefs that are letting this happen. Exactly. Fuck yeah, accountability. Like, I think people want legitimate. And I think that really, if you look at how angry and how vitriolic everybody is about the Epstein situation, I think that really goes to prove what I'm saying. People are tired of it. They're tired of it at a large scale. And I actually think that if you did that to them, yeah, you'd have some people that are saying that they're martyrs, but that's fine. Let them be martyrs. Yeah, that would never happen. They're too busy blaming illegal immigrants for the country's problems. When I see people held accountable for their actions, regardless of positions. Yeah, I want its big companies to have a portion of their assets seized. Yeah, exactly. Like, so if I was, like, for example, like if I was in charge of this, what would I do? I would take this guy. Maybe not him, but whoever is in charge of him, whoever owns the area. And I would figure out who was hiring these illegal aliens and who was aware that this was happening. And every single person that had knowledge of this happening, I would immediately arrest and put in jail for human trafficking. Because you knew and you were employing and you were facilitating the human trafficking of children. You were doing this. Put them all in jail. Seize all of their assets. And then you're done. That's it. They're gone. Yeah, who had to get paid. Yeah, and that's what you do. That's how you solve that public discretion. No, you just put them in jail. Like, I mean, there's nothing. You don't have to do anything else insane like that. Like, you just put them in jail. You can't do that in blue states? Of course you can. You can do whatever you want. You're the federal government. Like, you really think that they can't figure out a way to get around that?
Generations that need help. Where are they? Nothing's been done in those areas, Steve.
They don't even talk about it.
And people are, and the really awful thing, just very briefly, is that people are giving up the bureaucracy, the insurance, the nightmare. They're giving up, they're abandoning, and then that means you're going to lose the single.
It would stop immediately in other places too. Yeah, because like one thing that people don't talk a lot about is that a lot of people have probably already self-deported. Like they've already left the country after they've seen these ICE raids happening everywhere. Because if you self-deport, you get $1,000 and you can come back to the U.S. So if you give people a lifeline and you say, hey, you know, it's okay, you can leave now, but you have to leave, that's it. They're going to roach out. No, they haven't. Of course they have. Do you really think that people aren't doing that? Of course they are.
Family homes, they want to build apartments and destroy the California dream. It's awful.
It's so different.
The smart
Florida will take them.
Yeah.
My home state of Arizona will take them.
Yep.
Well, it's not too late for California, thanks to leadership like you and your mission and your vision.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Go, Steve.
I think it's too late, at least for a while for that. First time business owner gets executed on his front lawn, the rest are going to hire high schoolers instead. Well, the first time, I mean, I'm not saying execute them, right? Like, I mean, I'm not even saying that. I'm being reasonable. But like what I'm saying in general is that if you have these people that are doing this stuff, I'll link you guys the video. If you have the people that are doing this, Fox News isn't real news. Well, I mean, who cares? If everything they said in there was a lie, I think that the problem still exists and it still is the same issue that I'm discussing right now. And what I'm really trying to get at here is that, again, let me see if I read this real quick. Chimpanzee cage is reasonable. Yeah, you just need to put the business owners in jail. And until you put the business owners in jail, then nothing else is going to happen or be solved.